Good evening. This is All India Radio. I'm Valsa Williams and with me is Nishit Kumar with the evening news. The headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi holds second India-Australia virtual summit with his Australian counterpart Scott Morrison, reviews progress made on various initiatives under Comprehensive Strategic Partnership. President Ramnath Kovind confers Padma Awards for the year 2022 in Civil Investiture Ceremony 1 at Rashtrapati Bhavan. BJP leader Birin Singh takes oath as Chief Minister of Manipur for second time. In Uttarakhand, Pushkar Singh Dhami to continue as Chief Minister. Pramod Sawant also to lead the BJP-led government in Goa for second straight term. China Eastern Boeing 737 with 132 on board crashes in South China's Guangxi Chuang Autonomous Region. Prime Minister Narendra Modi expresses shock and sadness over the incident. And 13th Faza International Championships World Para-Athletics Grand Prix begins in Dubai. As we start the bulletin, we appeal to our listeners to stay safe from COVID-19 by following these 4 simple steps. Get fully vaccinated, wear a face mask, maintain 2 gaz ki duri for social distancing, focus on hand and face hygiene. And now the news in detail. The second India-Australia virtual summit was held today. Prime Minister Narendra Modi and his Australian counterpart Scott Morrison took stock of the progress made on various initiatives under the Comprehensive Strategic Partnership. The leaders discussed views on regional and international issues. In his opening remarks at the summit, Prime Minister Narendra Modi said in the last few years relations between India and Australia have made remarkable progress. He said both nations have very close cooperation in several areas including trade and investment, defence and security, education and innovation, and science and technology. Mr. Modi said the bilateral collaboration has also grown rapidly in many other areas such as critical minerals, water management, renewable energy and COVID-19 research. He welcomed the announcement of the establishment of a Centre of Excellence for Critical and Emerging Technology Policy in Bangalore. Mr. Modi said the conclusion of the Comprehensive Economic Cooperation Agreement will be important for our economic ties, economic revival and economic security.
हमारे कॉम्प्रिहेंसिव इकोनॉमिक कोऑपरेशन एग्रीमेंट सीका की बहुत कम समय में उल्लेखनीय प्रगति हुई है। मुझे पूरा विश्वास है सीका का शीघ्र समापन हमारे आर्थिक संबंधों, इकोनॉमिक रिवाइवल और इकोनॉमिक सिक्योरिटी के लिए बहुत महत्वपूर्ण होगा। क्वाड में भी हमारे बीच अच्छा सहयोग चल रहा है। हमारा यह सहयोग फ्री, ओपन और इंक्लूसिव इंडो पैसिफिक के प्रति हमारी प्रतिबद्धता को दर्शाता है।
Prime Minister Modi also thanked his Australian counterpart Scott Morrison for taking the initiative to return ancient Indian antiquities.
प्राचीन भारतीय कलाकृतियों को लौटाने की पहल के लिए मैं आपको विशेष रूप से धन्यवाद देना चाहता हूं। और आपने जो कलाकृतियां भेजी हैं, इनमें राजस्थान, पश्चिम बंगाल, गुजरात, हिमाचल प्रदेश, इसके साथ कई अन्य भारतीय राज्यों में से अवैध तरीके से निकाली गई सैकड़ों वर्ष पुरानी मूर्तियां और चित्र हैं और इसके लिए मैं सभी भारतवासियों की तरफ से आपका विशेष आभार व्यक्त करता हूं।
Prime Minister Modi expressed his condolences on the destruction caused by severe flooding in New South Wales and Queensland and the resultant loss of lives. He thanked Mr. Morrison for taking care of the Indian community, including Indian students in Australia, during the COVID-19 pandemic. Both the leaders also appreciated the increasing strategic convergence between the two countries as fellow democracies with shared values and common interests, which include a free, open, inclusive and prosperous Indo-Pacific. A joint statement was issued on the occasion covering various aspects of the deepening comprehensive strategic partnership. Both sides also agreed to establish annual summits between the Prime Ministers under the comprehensive strategic partnership, thus adding a special dimension to the bilateral relationship. Briefing reporters in New Delhi after the summit, Foreign Secretary Harshvardhan Shringla said it was a very fruitful, constructive and warm exchange of views. He said the summit reflected the close ties that exist between both the countries. Mr. Shringla said both the leaders stressed on the high priority they attached to the bilateral relationship and the keen focus to further enhance the comprehensive strategic partnership between the two countries. He said the leaders exchanged perspectives about regional and multilateral matters and global issues of mutual interest, including shared concerns such as terrorism.
In a reiteration for commitment to a progressive Indo-Pacific region, both leaders discussed calibrating and cooperating with each other on support to Pacific Island countries for humanitarian assistance and disaster relief, and in combating climate change through initiatives like the International Solar Alliance and the Coalition for Disaster Resilient Infrastructure.
India's public broadcaster Prasar Bharati has signed a memorandum of understanding with Australia's public service broadcaster Special Broadcasting Service SBS today to boost cooperation in the field of broadcasting. This will expand the reach of DD News, DD India and multiple language services of DD News amongst the Indian diaspora in Australia. Through this MOU, the two broadcasters will explore opportunities in co-production and joint broadcasting of programs spanning multiple genres. They will also exchange programs and radio and television content in the fields of culture, education, science, entertainment, sports, news, travel, music and arts. Both public broadcasters will also exchange professionals and organize their training to share knowledge on technical know-how and program production. They will provide facilities and general assistance, including supply of information and other organizational and technical assistance to each other. Briefing media after the virtual summit, Foreign Secretary Harshvardhan Shringla said the MOU would allow for exchange of programs and expertise in this sector and would facilitate daily slots on TV channels in Australia for DD India, DD News and DD Sahyadri.
President Ramnath Kovind presented the Padma Awards at the civil investiture ceremony one held at Rashtrapati Bhavan this evening. Mr. Kovind presented the Padma Vibhushan to CDS General Bipin Rawat and Radhe Shyam Khemka posthumously. Daughters of General Rawat, Kritika and Tarini, and Khemka's son Krishna Kumar received the awards. Veteran leader Ghulam Nabi Azad, Tata Sons chairman N. Chandrasekharan, Paralympics medalist Devendra Jhajaria, former Comptroller and Auditor General Rajiv Meharshi, Managing Director of the Serum Institute of India, Cyrus Poonawala, welfare activist Sachidananda Swami, classical vocalist Rashid Khan received the Padma Bhushan. Singer Gurmeet Bawa was given the award posthumously. 54 people were given Padma Shri awards. They include film and television series director Chandra Prakash Dwivedi, 125-year-old yoga enthusiast of Varanasi Swami Shivanand, traditional doll maker from Manipur Konsam Ibomcha Singh, Kannada author Siddha Lingaya, progressive horticulture farmer Sethpal Singh, engineer and academician Dilip Sahani, veteran football player Brahmanand Sankhwalkar, and gone painter Durgabai Vyam. Assam Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sarma said that the peace talk between the government and the Ulfa pro-talk faction is going on in the right direction. In a written reply in the Assembly today, Mr. Sarma informed that this group declared indefinite ceasefire in the year 2011, and after that several tripartite talks were held. The Chief Minister also said that the government has also appealed to the Ulfa Independence Faction Chief Paresh Barua to join the mainstream, and following his appeal, Barua declared ceasefire till the 18th of last month. The Chief Minister further said that recently 4 Karbi militant outfits have signed peace agreement with the government.
BJP leader and former Chief Minister of Manipur N. Birin Singh took oath as the Chief Minister of the state for the second time. The swearing-in ceremony was held at Raj Bhavan in Imphal. Manipur Governor La Ganeshan administered the oath to Mr. Biren Singh. 5 other MLAs also took oath as cabinet ministers today. Among them are BJP MLAs Bishwajit Y. Khemchand, Nemcha Kipgen, K. Govindas, and 1 MLA of Naga People's Front, Abangbao Numail. BJP National President J.P. Nadda, CM of Assam Himanta Biswa Sarma, CM of Tripura Biplab Kumar Dev, MOS Pratima Bhaumik, and other senior party leaders attended the swearing-in ceremony. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has congratulated N. Biren Singh on being sworn in as the Chief Minister of Manipur. In a tweet, Mr. Modi expressed confidence that his team and he would take Manipur to newer heights of progress and continue the good work done in the last 5 years.
In Uttarakhand, Pushkar Singh Dhami has been given a second term as the Chief Minister of the Hill State. Mr. Dhami was elected to head the state government in the Legislative Party meeting at the BJP headquarters in Dehradun today. Union Minister Mr. Rajnath Singh and Minister of State Meenakshi Lekhi were present as the central observers in the meeting. While Mr. Dhami has lost his own seat Khatima, the decision is seen as recognition for the 46-year-old who had spearheaded the BJP campaign that led the party to a record second straight term. Dr. Pramod Sawant is re-elected to the post of Chief Minister in Goa and will lead the state government for a second straight term. Union Minister Narendra Singh Tomar announced in press conference this evening after the BJP Legislative Party meeting held in Panaji. Mr. Tomar expressed confidence that Dr. Sawant will ensure the overall development of Goa for the next 5 years. We have more from our correspondent.
Goans were waiting to know who will be the next chief minister. Now the process of government formation has gathered momentum after BJP leaders meeting the governor P.S. Sridharan Pillai to stake the claims for formation of the government. Dr. Pramod Sawant expressed happiness and thanked central as well as the local leaders for expressing faith in him. He expressed hope that Goa will march ahead with the more acceleration towards Nava Bharat vision of the Prime Minister Narendra Modi. BJP has 20 members and support of 3 independents and Maharashtrawadi Goantak Party members in the 40 members Goa Legislative Assembly. Tushar Jadhav, Vidyamukhyasthali, Panaji, Goa.
Aam Aadmi Party has named 5 people as its nominees for 5 Rajya Sabha vacancies arising due to the ending of terms of MPs on April the 9th. The names announced by the party as its nominees include Sandeep Pathak, Associate Professor at IIT Delhi, AAP's Delhi MLA and National Spokesperson Raghav Chadha and former cricketer Harbhajan Singh. The Chancellor of Lovely Professional University, Ashok Mittal, has been named as the 4th nominee, and Sanjeev Arora, an industrialist from Ludhiana, is the 5th nominee. You're listening to the evening news on All India Radio. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts.
अपने बिजनेस को बढ़ाने के लिए लीजिए आकाशवाणी का सहयोग और दीजिए उसे बुलंदियों के पंख।
आपका बिजनेस लोकल है या राष्ट्रीय, आकाशवाणी देती है उपभोक्ताओं तक पहुंचने का हर विकल्प।
और अब तो आप घर, दफ्तर या दुकान पर बैठे बैठे कर सकते हैं आकाशवाणी के किसी भी केंद्र के लिए विज्ञापनों की बुकिंग।
आकाशवाणी के विभिन्न चैनलों पर विज्ञापन देना सुलभ और सस्ता।
बुकिंग है तो संपर्क करें 8700014242 पर।
8700014242।
Here is a review of the proceedings in Parliament today. First from the Lok Sabha, the writer is Kumar Rakesh of the PTI. Several opposition leaders in the Lok Sabha today praised the work of Road Transport and Highways Minister Nitin Gadkari. They also flagged some concerns on issues such as quality of roads, their maintenance and alleged lack of transparency in the toll collection. Participating in the discussion on the demand for grants of Ministry of Road Transport and Highways for 2022-23, most MPs, both from the opposition and treasury benches, hailed the work done by Mr. Gadkari in the road transport sector. BJP MP from Arunachal Pradesh, Tapir Gao, hailed road construction under the Modi government and said top car companies including Ferrari, Porsche, Mercedes and Lamborghini now participate in car rallies because of the good roads in the state. The road network has even reached Kalapani in Uttarakhand, he said. Like Spider-Man's web, Nitin Gadkari too is putting in place a network of road connectivity, Gao said. A number of opposition members also flagged issues of concern and called for speeding up of the existing projects. CPIM MP from Kerala, A.M. Arif, thanked Gadkari for the development of national highways in Kerala in a time-bound manner. Danish Ali of the BSP praised the ministry, saying it has done a lot of good work in recent years. Personally, I would like to compliment ministers of this ministry for the good work they have done all these years, he said. M.K. Vishnu Prasad of the Congress sought to know from the government the reason for escalation in the allocation of about 2 lakh crore rupees. It was the previous Congress governments under the leadership of Jawaharlal Nehru, Rajiv Gandhi, which laid the foundation, and that is why today India has the second largest road network, he said. Hasnain Masoodi of the National Conference praised Gadkari for his work but flagged concern over the quality of roads being constructed. Ram Kripal Yadav of the BJP said that the PM Gati Shakti program will play a critical role in raising India's GDP to US $5 trillion besides generating jobs. Hanuman Beniwal of the RLP demanded that all villages should be connected by roads. N.K. Premachandran of the RSP said Gadkari is doing a good job. Goman Singh Damor of the BJP praised Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Gadkari for increasing road network across the country. Attention has also been paid to road safety, he said. Earlier, Education Minister Dharmendra Pradhan said the government will discuss with political party leaders the issues of whether the privilege of MPs recommending the admission of 10 students to central schools in an academic year should end. The move came after the matter was discussed in the Lok Sabha today, and Speaker Om Birla directed Union Education Minister Dharmendra Pradhan to hold a meeting with the leaders of political parties in the House. The issue was first raised by Manish Tiwari of the Congress, who said that the 10 seats quota for the MPs is inadequate as they receive a lot of requests for recommendations for the central school seats. He said the quota should either end or be enhanced. Responding to this, Mr. Pradhan said if the House is unanimous in ending the MPs. Pradhan said central schools and Navodaya Vidyalayas were set up to cater to the needs of wards of all India services officers who are transferred to different parts of the country at regular intervals and in areas where central institutions are located. But there are issues of local help as state governments have to come forward by offering land to set up the central schools, he said. The minister also said that the central government approves the establishment of central schools in batches every 2 to 3 years, and it is wrong to say that it has not opened schools for a long time. Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary of the Congress urged the government to bring in a provision for withholding of funds if a District Development Coordination and Monitoring Committee, DISHA, does not regularly hold its meetings in the states. A strong demand was made in the Lok Sabha today to speed up the construction of border roads in North Bengal and the northeastern states, including an alternative highway from Siliguri to Darjeeling. BJP member from Darjeeling, Raju Bista, also urged the centre to speed up construction of a new bridge to replace the 100-year-old Coronation Bridge, which is an important link between North Bengal and the northeast. He said there is a need to speed up road construction in the border region because North Bengal and Sikkim region was crucial as it shared borders with China, Bhutan, Nepal and Bangladesh. AIMIM member Imtiaz Jalil said that the Aurangabad Ajanta Caves road in Maharashtra has been delayed for over 5 years despite an assurance by Mr. Gadkari in 2019 to build it within a few weeks. Uday Pratap Singh of the BJP from Hoshangabad in Madhya Pradesh demanded toll-free access for people living within the 10 kilometers radius of any toll booth. His party colleague Ram Kripal Yadav said the PM Gati Shakti program will play a critical role in raising India's GDP to $5 trillion besides generating jobs. Hanuman Beniwal of the RLP demanded that all villages should be connected by roads. Navneet Rana, Independent, suggested that the centre should focus on development of roads in tribal areas, especially in Maharashtra. Srinivas K.C. Neni of the TDP demanded that budgetary allocation should be increased for road safety and maintenance so that accidents could be reduced. N.K. Premachandran of the RSP objected to the absence of Road Transport and Highways Minister Nitin Gadkari during the discussion on demands for grants for his ministry. CPI member M. Selvaraj from Nagapattinam, BSP member Ram Shiromani Verma from Shravasti, BJP member Dhal Singh Bishan from Balaghat, JDU member Alok Kumar Suman from Gopalganj, IUML member K. Navas Khani from Ramanathapuram also participated in the debate. Sunita Duggal of the BJP heaped praises on Prime Minister Narendra Modi for the government's development policies and lauded Gadkari for the pace of highway building. Pratap Simha, also of the BJP, said that Gadkari never says no to any member's request related to his ministry.
And now a review of proceedings in the Rajya Sabha. Writer is Rajesh Ahuja of UNI. Several issues were raised during the 0 hour in Rajya Sabha today. Ashok Vajpayee of the BJP expressed concern over the closure of the Lucknow-based Scooter India Limited and urged the government to make arrangements for the manufacture of electronic scooters in the country. Ayodhya Rami Reddy and Subhash Chandra Das Pili, both of YSR Congress, raised the issue of the lack of cold storage warehouses in Andhra Pradesh and called for increasing financial assistance and strengthening their infrastructure. Revati Raman Singh of the Samajwadi Party, Ramnath Thakur of the JDU, Priyanka Chaturvedi of the Shiv Sena, Vikas Mahatme, Kailash Soni and KJ Alphonse, all BJP, Subhash Chandra Das Pili of YSRCP, K. Ravindra Kumar of TDP, Fauzia Khan of NCP and V. Suvadasan of CPIM, among others, who raised 0 hour mentions. Earlier, the House was taken up has taken up discussion on the motion for consideration and return of the Appropriation Number 2 Bill 2022 and Appropriation Number 3 Bill 2022. The bills earlier passed by the Lok Sabha were moved by Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman in the upper house. Initiating discussion on the bills, Shakti Sen Gohil of the Congress questioned the government's claim of acting for alleviating the condition of the poor. Shiv Pratap Shukla of BJP said the Congress-ruled state opposed the decision to bring petroleum products under GST. He said this was the reason why petrol and diesel still remained outside the ambit of GST. John Brittas of the CPI-M charged the government with indulging in crony capitalism. Faza Khan of NCP said the government should publicise schemes meant for benefit of the poor. She expressed concern on decrease in allocation for defence. Priyanka Chaturvedi of the Shiv Sena blamed the government for declining economic health in the country. Quoting several news headlines in this regard, her comments raised uproar in Treasury benches, with Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman questioning the use of misappropriation by her during her speech. This led to verbal exchanges between the Treasury benches and the opposition. Presiding officer Surendra Singh Nagar said the matter will be examined and if any unparliamentary word has been used, it would be expunged. Mahesh Poddar of the BJP termed the opposition criticism of the government policies as misplaced and said the fact that people have returned the BJP to power in the biggest state of the country is evidence that people have faith in this government. Responding to the discussion, Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman explaining why supplementary demand of 2018-19 is coming up now, said the PAC has looked into it and said we need to go to the House for regularising expenditure in excess of that approved in the budget. She said the supplementary demands were made for funding schemes meant to benefit the common man. On payment of GST compensation to states, she said the centre is committed to pay GST compensation in time. On opposition criticising the decrease in the interest rate in EPFO to 8.1%, she said it was still higher than the interest rate on other saving schemes like PPF and Sukanya scheme. On opposition criticism of reduction in defence expenditure, she said in none of the heads has defence expenditure been reduced. The apprehensions about adverse effect on expenditure on various outlays is unfounded. After the reply by the Finance Minister on the Appropriation Number 2 Bill and Appropriation Number 3 Bill were returned to the Lok Sabha by voice vote. And that is all in Parliament Review.
India's COVID vaccination coverage has exceeded 181 crore 24 lakh today. India's active caseload currently stands at 25,106. The recovery rate is currently at 98.74% with 2,652 recoveries in the last 24 hours. This has taken the total recoveries to over 4 crore 24 lakh. A total of 1,549 new cases were recorded in the last 24 hours. Under the Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav celebrations, 75th years of independence, International Forest Day was celebrated at the National Zoological Park, New Delhi, this evening by planting 75 native trees by media personnel, employees of the Environment Ministry and others. On the occasion, Environment, Forest and Climate Change Minister Bhupendra Yadav, along with his deputy in the ministry, Ashwani Kumar Chaubey, released export and cultural values of the 4 native tree species, namely agarwood, rosewood, chandan and red sanders.
A China Eastern Boeing 737 with 133 on board has crashed and caused a mountain fire in South China's Guangxi Chuang Autonomous Region. The number of casualties is not clear yet. State media reported the plane MU-5735 took off from Kunming Changshui Airport in southwest China's Yunnan province at 13:15 hours and was scheduled to arrive at Guangzhou, South China's Guangdong province, at 15:07 hours. At present, rescue teams have been deployed. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has expressed shock and sadness over the crash of a passenger flight MU-5735 in China's Guangxi. In a tweet, Mr. Modi said, "Our thoughts and prayers are with the victims of the crash and their family members."
Today is Navroz, the Parsi New Year, seen as a harbinger of peace and prosperity. Navroz is the most widely celebrated festival of the Parsi community. Besides celebrations, Navroz is also a day of repentance. The day is dedicated to the clean and purify the mind and start a new year with love and peace. People wear traditional clothes and visit fire temple, also known as Agyari, and offer milk, flowers, fruits, sandalwood to the sacred fire. Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu and Prime Minister Narendra Modi have greeted people on Navroz. In a tweet, Mr. Naidu hoped that this auspicious day ushers in a year of peace, prosperity and happiness in our lives. In a tweet, Mr. Modi hoped that the coming year brings with it joy and outstanding health to everyone's lives. A 29-member Indian team led by Paralympian Harambeer is taking part in the 13th Faza International Championships World Para-Athletics Grand Prix beginning in Dubai today. The championships have kicked off the World Para-Athletics Grand Prix season with around 500 para-athletes from 43 nations in action. Harambeer will compete in the men's discus throw and club throw F51 events. He will be joined by APG bronze medalist Mohammad Yasser, Devender Kumar, Nimisha Suresh, Chakkungal Parambil and Pranav Prasad at the Faza International Championships.
At the stock markets, the Sensex and the Nifty today lost nearly 1% each. We have a report from the business world.
At the stock markets, after opening the week higher, the Sensex at the Bombay Stock Exchange erased all its gains to decline 571 points or 1% to end at 57,292 today. Nifty dropped 169 points or 1% to 17,118. At the Forex market, the rupee depreciated 32 paise against the dollar to 76.12. And Brent crude futures shot up $3.40 to trade at $111.33 a barrel. Lalema Aneja Dang for AIR News.
A deep depression has formed over the North Andaman Sea and adjoining southeast Bay of Bengal. It is moving northwards off and along the Andaman and Nicobar Islands towards Myanmar coastline. It is likely to intensify into a cyclonic storm in the next few hours. Thereafter, it will cross Myanmar coast in the early hours of 23rd March. As per the Meteorological Department, it is moving away 110 kilometers east-southeast of Mayabundar. Not much effect has been observed in ANN Islands. Moderate to heavy rainfall was received at various places in the islands. Strong winds and heavy rainfall have been forecast for the next 1 or 2 days. Wind speed is likely to go up to 85 kilometers per hour. Rough sea condition is expected. Fishermen have been advised not to venture into the sea till the 23rd of March. Taking precautionary measures, all tourism activities in Andaman and Nicobar Islands remain suspended till tomorrow.
And now let us take a look at the weather forecast for tomorrow. The national capital Delhi is likely to have strong surface winds during the daytime. Temperature will vary between 20 and 36 degrees Celsius. Mumbai will have mainly clear sky. The minimum temperature will be 23 degrees Celsius, while the maximum is expected to be around 35 degrees. Chennai is likely to have generally cloudy sky with light rain. Temperature will vary between 25 and 34 degrees Celsius. Kolkata will have mainly clear sky. The minimum temperature will be 26 degrees Celsius and the maximum of around 37 degrees. Srinagar will have mainly clear sky. Temperature will hover between 7 and 23 degrees Celsius. Jammu will have mainly clear sky. Minimum temperature will be 18 degrees. Maximum will be around 33 degrees. Leh and Gilgit are likely to have partly cloudy sky. Muzaffarabad will have mainly clear sky. Visakhapatnam will have partly cloudy sky with 1 or 2 spells of rain or thunder showers. Hyderabad will have partly cloudy sky with haze. Bengaluru and Port Blair will have generally cloudy sky with 1 or 2 spells of rain or thunder showers. Thiruvananthapuram will have partly cloudy sky with possibility of moderate rain or thunderstorm. Guwahati will have partly cloudy sky with haze. Imphal, Shillong, Aizawl and Kohima will have partly cloudy sky. Itanagar and Gangtok will have generally cloudy sky with 1 or 2 spells of rain or thunder showers. And Agartala will have mist.
And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Prime Minister Narendra Modi holds second India-Australia virtual summit with his Australian counterpart Scott Morrison. Reviews progress made on various initiatives under Comprehensive Strategic Partnership. President Ramnath Kovind confers Padma Awards for the year 2022 in civil investiture ceremony 1 at Rashtrapati Bhavan. BJP leader Birin Singh takes oath as Chief Minister of Manipur for second time. In Uttarakhand, Pushkar Singh Dhami to continue as Chief Minister. Pramod Sawant also to lead the BJP-led government in Goa for second straight term. China Eastern Boeing 737 with 132 on board crashes in South China's Guangxi Zhuang Autonomous Region. Prime Minister Narendra Modi expresses shock and sadness over the incident. And 13th Faza International Championships World Para-Athletics Grand Prix begins in Dubai. For details of these stories and more, log on to our website www.newsonair.gov.in and News on AIR app. And with that, we end the evening news. Good night.